Testing, testing. Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. TGIF. Is it working? Am I on? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Good morning, y'all. Shout out to everybody that is here. If you're on a replay, it doesn't matter. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. I appreciate y'all. Yes, 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 yes. Now, I'm going to try to get to the roast. Trust me when I tell you. I'm going to try my best to get to the roast. But then I saw some other stuff that we can talk about as well. Because it's not only just about, it is really just about Generation X. It's not just about roasting Generation Z. Oh, yeah, it definitely is always about, Generation Z. Yes, it's always about roasting them. But we don't have to start segmenting some things too. So I came across a video where they talked about Generation X, the blacks. Shout out to the black sassy straights. Trying to find out if y'all wasn't shit even back then and you just grown into bigger non-shits, okay? So I feel like let's go ahead and see what this has to say and see if some of y'all can relate, because I know we have a lot of black men here. Of the Generation X era. And then, of course, I'm going to try my best to get into the roasting of Generation Z, because that just makes my day, especially when they come in here and they're upset. I love it. I love it. I love it. And what a way to start the weekend. Okay. RBN. Good morning to all of y'all. RBN. Don't give out no names, right? But why now all of a sudden are there other people that happen to be doing the same type of work? I tell you, it's interesting around these YouTube streets. I tell you, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, y'all hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. We're going to get right into it because I got a couple hours actually because I work from home today. Shout out to me. And if y'all got to go to work, get your asses to work. Don't be late. Don't be hanging around here and don't be blaming me, child. As you know, these jobs be jobbing and they don't like y'all to be working. And they definitely don't like Gen Z to be working. And they seem to be upset about that. They're saying, oh my God. Well, we've heard this before, but yeah, let's start with some roasting, okay? Let's start there. Oh my God. They didn't teach us. Oh my God, you can't get a job. Yeah, I know you know. Oh my God, it's not right, it's not fair. Oh my God. Tadisha. Shout out to Tadisha. You over here in the Generation X room, I think. Let me go over here and take a look. It'd be a lot going on, y'all. It'd be a lot going on. It's like 4 streams going on right now. Give me 1 second, because I gotta make you a moderator if that's where you are. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you, boo. Ooh, okay, yep. Let me mod you here. Actually, I'm gonna make you manager moderator over on this side. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We working on it. Thank you. Shout out to all the channel members. Shout out to if you are on live and you have a channel membership and you don't know where it came from, thank Death the Reaper. Thank Death the Reaper. You gave out 20 memberships last night. I appreciate you, boo. I know he's not here because this is his sleep time. But make sure I thank him anyway. Shout out to you, Reaper, stream sponsor from yesterday. No, thank you. I appreciate you. I will make you manager moderator on the other channel too once in the next live stream. Shout out to V Ben Azrael. Hey boo, feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being here. Let me go ahead and go over to. I was just started looking at one of these. Might not be able to do the whole thing because I want to get to the blacks. Let me start with this one though. Okay, roast session will begin. It says, why Gen Z feels like life never started. Oh, man. Oh, poor things. I feel so bad. What the hell is going on around here? There you go, Dre. Done. Let's hear what they got to say. This is from somebody named Stan's Thoughts, who is almost to 1,000. Shout out to Stan. 757 subscribers. and I will drop his link in a second. Why do they feel like life hasn't started? Why? Where? Gen Z, can you come and help us understand, child?
High school students and recent grads say they're sending out job applications all over the place, but aren't hearing back.
I've applied for like over 100 companies, and so far I haven't found any even for an interview.
The majority of Gen Z is unemployed. Yes, it's true, and yes, that is a ridiculous statement because a lot of us are graduating college at this point.
That people are throwing.
Oh no. Oh no. What does a manager moderator mean? That means you can change the chat from what is it? From you can just change the status of the chat and something else. I'm not really sure. Who the only person I know that'd be crazy doing manager moderator stuff is usually in Theo's chat. But I don't know, girl. I have to find out. But it's only Reaper, Trend, Nicole, and now you. So thank you, girl.
Their hands up and they don't know what to do with Gen Z because they are just not prepared for the real world. They don't have the social skills, they don't have the discipline, they don't have the accountability.
What I've noticed is Gen Z has grown up communicating in a fully digital world, whether text messaging or instant messages. That is their form of communication rather than being in person. Because of that, many of them are feeling anxious when interactions are spontaneous or unplanned.
You know, I hate to keep interrupting, but what she just said is important, right? A lot of Gen Zs think that the way that you text, which is a lot of abbreviation, is the way that you communicate in real life. And we got to be honest, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You can't be doing WYM and you think everybody's supposed to know what the hell that means. Like, enough of the times I got to be like, child, what? You cannot acronym your way through life. You can't like text communicate in the working world. So if you went to college and you're telling me that you don't know how to communicate, child, somebody wasted their money.
I don't think people fully understand how confusing this moment feels. Not just on the surface, but in the way everything we were told growing up doesn't quite line up with what we're experiencing now. Because on one side, there's a very clear memory of how things were supposed to work. You go to school, you stay disciplined, you get the degree, and eventually, that effort translates into stability. But on the other side, there's this completely different reality where you can do all of that almost perfectly and still find yourself stuck, refreshing job pages, rewriting applications, and trying to understand what exactly you missed. And somewhere between those two experiences, there's a quiet question that keeps coming back. Did we misunderstand the system, or did the system change without telling us?
I have a few case studies on my portfolio just showcasing the work that I've done at school for the companies and nonprofits that I've worked for. The last experience I have is another contract role with a startup that I did through a club at Cornell as well.
Damn, she a Cornell graduate.
Growing up, the path didn't feel abstract or uncertain. It felt structured, almost predictable in the way people talked about it.
My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they just...
Oh, is this Steve Jobs? It's sure the F is. Rest in peace to Steve Jobs. So you're trying to tell me that he was also adopted and became one of the most famous men in the world? What?
Decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course."
Why does that sound like puppies? Oh, you know, I know you wanted a biatch, but we have a stud instead. Do you want it? Yeah, I'll take him. That sounds crazy, y'all.
My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college.
Education wasn't just important. It was positioned as the foundation, the one thing that if you got it right, would make everything else easier to figure out. And for a long time, that belief held together, not because it was perfect, but because it worked well enough for the generations before us. Which is what makes this moment feel so disorienting, because the system we trusted wasn't random, it was inherited. And yet, somewhere along the way, without any clear announcement or warning, the conditions that made it work started to shift.
It's 2007. You're starting college. Marketing major. 4 years to learn the industry. Get that degree. Build a career. Your classes. Newspaper advertising. Magazine layouts. TV commercial production. Radio spots. Direct mail campaigns.
Well, I don't know what this degree is, right? But who the hell buys magazines anymore? I haven't bought a magazine since either Cosmopolitan or Glamour. And that was when it was like in the early 90s or so, maybe mid. So it definitely started trailing off. Remember when we would buy, as kids anyway, like Teen Beat and even rag magazines at the shopping center counter, you know, the Star, the Inquirer, Ebony, Jet, all that type of stuff. That stuff went away a while ago. So where the hell are they going to be doing all this? It sounds like a marketing job, which I know a lot of people, I've met quite a few people who's like, oh, I do marketing. And I'm always like, what the hell does that mean? What do you do? Am I a marketer because I do this YouTube stuff then? I didn't go to college for that. You go to college to learn how to put stuff where they look like they should be placed or something? I don't know. Maybe y'all know what the hell a marketing degree will do for you. Shout out to Kofa. Good morning. Are there any hard copy publications? I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, you know they are, because you know what? I see newspapers in Wawa. That's the only way I would know. Other than that, there used to be newsstands. I don't even think they have those anymore.
Billboard design. Market research with focus groups and surveys. This is marketing. This is how you reach customers. This is what professionals do. You graduate in 2011, proud, educated, ready to work. You start job hunting. Every posting mentions the same thing. Facebook ads experience required. Social.
Wait. Sorry, y'all. These are the people that are on the phones. Why do you think that you need a marketing degree? You are already on the damn phone. Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You needed to go to college to figure out how that shit worked? All right, maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't understand.
Media marketing, digital campaigns. You have no idea what any of that means. You spent 4 years learning marketing, but Facebook ads, Instagram, Twitter campaigns never came up. Not once. You just spent $80,000 learning skills that became obsolete while you were still in school.
$80,000 for marketing? That sounds so general. Well, then why can't you transition it to something else? This is my question for y'all, because I don't know. So if you can't work at Facebook and Instagram, you telling me there's nowhere else that you can work with marketing? Somebody got to be marketing something somewhere, allegedly. I don't know.
Meanwhile, someone who started college in 2010 learned Facebook advertising. They're ahead of you. They started later. They know less overall, but they know the thing that matters right now.
Which meant that by the time we reached the point where education was supposed to transition into opportunity, the system on the other side wasn't the same one we had been preparing for. Because while we were still following the same path, sitting in classrooms, taking exams, working toward degrees, the world outside those classrooms was evolving at a completely different pace. Industries were changing, technology was accelerating, and the structure of work itself was becoming less stable, less linear, and far less predictable than it used to be.
As far back as the numbers go, the unemployment rate for recent college graduates has been below the rate for all U.S. workers. But over the past few years, unemployment among recent grads climbed above the rate for the broader population.
As of early 2026, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports that the underemployment rate for recent college graduates has surged to 42.5%, its highest level since the 2020 COVID lockdowns. Furthermore, data from major career platforms shows that over 35% of all entry-level job postings now explicitly require at least 3 years of professional experience.
I'm looking for a job and I don't have that much experience, so I'm just looking for an entry-level position, okay? Nothing too crazy. I'm like looking at these entry-level positions. Let me know why one of them said 8 years of experience.
Our entry-level job.
I thought your college experience or your college years counted as experience. So they changed that too? Kofa says because it's become the new high school diploma. Oh, marketing? Because so many people get it, it's watered down. They're right about this. And they still out here trying to get college degrees and stupid stuff. I mentioned an associate's degree and my mama almost punched me in the chest. That's all I got. Sorry, Mama Kofa. All I got is an associate's degree. I know. I'm just all because some company I work for said you need a degree. I said, child, how I get hired if I need a degree? You want to progress, then you need to get a degree. So then I got $30,000 in student loan debt at the age of 30 some odd years old. here I am, never needed it at all. Technically, never needed it at all.
Jobs vanishing slowly. Is AI the villain? Or is a bigger shift happening in the job market?
Gen Z isn't struggling to land jobs because they're unprepared. They're struggling because junior jobs are disappearing. AI now writes reports, analyze data, draft emails, plan content, and it can even build code now. So
look at these jobs though. Hold on.
AI now writes reports, analyze data, draft emails, plan.
The disappearing roles, junior analysts, marketing juniors. What the hell is that? HR assistants, finance, admin, project coordinators, research assistants. This stuff don't even sound like real jobs. Like, I know they're real jobs, but you know what I mean? Content juniors, social media assistants, copyright, all this shit, it seems like you don't need a college degree for. You can just do it. Research juniors, operations assistants, HR assistants. Okay.
Content, and it can even build code now. So it's not that jobs went away, the headcount went away.
Recent analysis shows that the entry-level job market is the worst it's been in decades.
In 2025, more than 80,000 job postings mentioned generative AI skills. That's a 100% increase from the year before.
And for the first time in a long time, even having a degree doesn't guarantee the kind of access it used to.
Since graduating college, I would say I've applied to around 200 jobs.
I would say I've applied to about 150, maybe more now.
In some cases, the advantage that higher education once provided is shrinking to the point where graduates are competing under almost the same conditions as everyone else.
I recently graduated college in May of 2025. I do not have one friend that is truly employed with an actual job that their career uses. Like, yes, I have employed friends like, at normal jobs, like retail, restaurants, things like that, but that is completely different.
And when you really sit with that, it explains why so many people feel stuck. Not because they didn't try, but because the outcome they were aiming for has quietly changed.
It is crazy to think that, again, we were just lied to throughout our childhoods because everyone...
I need y'all to stop saying that you were lied to. If that's what it was at the time, then that's what it was. And one of the things that that should be done is to basically read the room. So if we know all this, and this is not new news, why are y'all still taking out loans and going to college? For crap that ain't gonna help you. For crap that's being taken over by AI. For crap that don't even sound real. Like somebody said earlier, women's studies. What the hell are you gonna do? I'm a woman, just ask me. I don't need no women's studies. What kind of shit is that? They're still taking out loans and still going to college, so I'm just a bit confused. You know what I'm saying? They are not wrong. I try to tell my parents about certifications about 20 years ago. I got yelled at and stuck with the degree. I don't know. Sorry to hear that. I just feel like the news and what's been going on in the world has kind of been an indicator of where things are going, because you're supposed, well, not you, but people should be, taking a look at the economy, how it's going, how it works compared to before, see what the job market says, what they're hiring for, and take that into consideration. When you're 19, probably not. One would hope. Because when I went to college the first time, and then I decided not to go, and I got married instead. But when I went the second time, I still was looking around while I was going. It's like business administration. What the hell? What am I gonna do with this? Where am I gonna go with this? And it still didn't make a difference. Let me tell you, it still didn't make a difference. That associate's degree. Still got into management with it. It wasn't because of that associate's degree. Got into management just because I got into it. But I'm thinking that because of everything that we're hearing now, that maybe they should be like, all right, well, maybe college is not the answer. Maybe I should figure out something different. Like, I think Gen Z just said, Queen just said that she was thinking about going to college for a trade instead of just going to college just to get some degree that's going to cost all this money, and then you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Sometimes we just got to change some shit up. So I like that shirt though, girl. Where you get it from?
Said, okay, if you spend this first, if you make it through elementary school, then you'll go to a good middle school. And then once you make it through middle school and you get good grades in middle school, then you're going to go into high school, and your high school teachers, they are going to teach you how to get into really good colleges. And if you get really...
I wonder if they do that. Who got kids in high school? Do they still have a guidance counselor that tells you what you need to do in order to get into college and how you fill out the application, and you should go do college visits. This is what we used to have. Do y'all still have that stuff? Do y'all have anything similar to that? Or do your kids, I should say, have anything similar to that? Best in Delaware says, I have a degree in math, but it doesn't help me in my job at all. A degree in math. I guess that means that you were supposed to be, I guess, an accountant or something. That's what that sounds like. I could never, child. When they gave me, I think they gave me accounting when I was in college, and I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Y'all know how I am with math. If it ain't about the money, I can't do it. Accounting was the worst. I actually almost failed it. I got out with a C. Can't stand it. Just give me addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I'm good. I'm good.
Good grades in high school, then you'll get into a really good college. And if you get into a really good college, then you're going to get a really good job. If you get a really good job, you're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to be set for the rest of your life, even though you're probably paying $100,000 a year in college tuition to have this guaranteed good life and guaranteed good job, and that's just not the case.
We are the definition of a generation who has done things by the book to get shat on again and again and again and again and again. You spent your whole life seeing how made up high school graduation is to be, and you get to graduate and you graduated to quit. I spent my whole life playing ball to not even get to play in the playoffs. Okay, then you go to college, your freshman year never gets canceled. Okay, then you graduate. Oh my God, you graduate into the worst job market in damn near American history. Oh, and God forbid you want a house, because the average first-time homeowner now is 50. Oh, and God forbid you want to have a hobby of traveling, because now they snatch a people passport. Gen Z busted to me. Gen Z busted to me.
Oh, well, they know how to do this, though. Shout out to them. So Queen says, to be honest, I was struggling to get jobs a couple years ago, but I earned mine through word of mouth, and thankfully been here almost 3 years now so they definitely want you to have experience. It also sounds like, what's it called? You use networking, word of mouth, talk to people and somebody you know, and helps you get in there, because that helps too. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I'm just saying, you can, not you, but they can get on here, they can whine and complain they was lied to and all that other stuff. So the question is, so what are you going to do about it now? Are you just going to whine and cry and say it's not fair and blame other people? Or are you going to do something different? Because I'm just saying, what can you do? But people are still taking out loans and going to college, especially after what we listened to when during Joe Biden's term, where he was waiving student cost loans, and people still talking about, oh, well, I'm just going to go back to college and take on more debt. Okay, whatever you say. Makes sense to me. Thank you, RBN. He said, my current job, I didn't apply for. I was called by them via a personal referral. Thank you for confirming what I just said. Excuse me. Via a personal referral, my 2 useless master's degrees didn't help. One in public admission, the second in management, both useless. It helps to know some people. But, you know, these people like to know each other. And then when someone that could possibly help them, which is someone elder, they don't want to listen. So even though I might have to agree a little bit with maybe you might have some issues, you don't just sit, wait, and complain about it. You're going to have to change it up, chap. You're going to have to do something different if you want something different. And if you don't know and knowing other people is probably the best way, but you can't know the people that's got the same struggles as you do. How they going to help you? They're going to help you sit here and do this and whine and get on TikTok and complain, and that don't help your job situation. That's just my thoughts.
But it's not just about access to jobs. It's also about how prepared people feel when they finally get there.
Gen Z absolutely refuses to work the same way boomers did, but why? Why so against it? A recent survey found that 72% of Gen Z workers have quit or strongly considered quitting their job if the job wasn't flexible. Another found that Gen Z is asking for way more money than boomers did, with 55% of them negotiating job offers compared to 42% for boomers. The same study found on average that Gen Z expects a 10% annual raise, even without a promotion, which was 42% higher than what boomers expect.
Wait, did that say expect? Hold on.
Finally get there.
Gen Z absolutely refuses to work the same way boomers did, but why? Why so against it?
Why? Thank you, Business Bully. Shout out to the Business Bully up in here. Thank you for the sunshine. Good morning to you. Good morning to Aliyah. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. LinkedIn says 72% of Gen Z is the most likely generation to have either left or considered leaving a job because their employer did not offer a feasible, flexible work policy. See, then you start talking like this, and this is what I got for you. That's what I got for you. What time? I will. What time will you you going live? I'll definitely look out.
A recent survey found that 72% of Gen Z workers have quit or strongly considered quitting their job if the job wasn't flexible. Another found that Gen Z is asking for way more money than boomers did, with 55% of them negotiating job offers compared to 42%.
Goodbye. You think that any of this don't have something to do with it as well? Excuse me. So you don't think this has anything to do with it also? This is what we expect. This is what we demand. So you're already at the bottom of the totem pole for whatever your reasons are. And now you come in here talking about this is what you expect. This is what you want. And if not, that you're not going to do it. Oh, here y'all come. Here y'all come. See, y'all almost had me for a second. I was about to say, nope. Now here you go.
For boomers. The same study found on average that Gen Z expects a 10% annual raise, even without a promotion.
A 10% goodbye. What is the average raise if you get one? 2 to 3% typically, and they over here talking about they expect 10% annually, and then they say you don't have to give us a promotion, but you do have to give us 10%. Entitled much?
Which was 42% higher than what boomers expected when they were asked the same question. Does Gen Z expect too much at work, or are they the first generation to really hold corporations accountable for what's theirs?
Can somebody explain to me in crayon-eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
Thank you, Trey, for the thumbs up. I appreciate you. And now we go to the normal. Now I can't afford to live. Wow. Again, none of these people ever get together either. They're all single. They're all single doing this individually.
There's another layer to this disconnect, and it has less to do with effort and more to do with alignment.
Steve and Teresa, the class of 2024 had some bad reviews from their bosses from nearly 1,000 employers who called them difficult to work with, and it's affecting how they hire future grads fresh out of college. Let's put up the graphic. Now, these are facts from...
It used to be you was getting a job as soon as you came out of college for the most part, but now y'all feeling entitled and talking about it.
Research. In recent months, 6 in 10 employers fired Gen Z workers fresh out of college. 1 in 6 bosses say they're hesitating to hire recent college grads. 1 in 7 admitted they plan to avoid hiring them altogether next year.
I'm not very shocked. I think it's just a very hard time for our generation. Yeah, especially coming out of COVID and everything.
I would agree because I feel like social media, like technology, has made people lazy. Like, yeah, that's just my thing. Everybody just uses ChatGPT these days and all of that. That's why.
It's a matter of ageism, where people would just, because you're young, they think that you're not capable.
A significant number.
Child, now they try to use ageism. Don't be taking our shit, okay? As a senior citizen, don't be trying to take our shit now as ageism. I'm ageist. They're being ageist against us. So then what you're saying is they only hire people in the middle? So it couldn't be any of the other things that y'all surveyed that they just put up through LinkedIn. Now I guess LinkedIn is not a reliable source either. Wow. Interesting. Kofa says, you see how finances are affected by relationships or lack thereof. Yes, I already know. These people, they running off at the mouth, but it's like, but y'all are not interested in getting together. So that's part of the problem, which is why when they're talking about, oh, I can't get a house or whatever. No, you can't. At these prices, no, you can't. I wouldn't have been able to afford my first house that only cost $85,000. And I say only compared to now. That was a lot of money then, based on the money we were making. But they don't want to believe that anybody struggled other than them. I wanted to go back to Born Supreme that says best thing to do is to get in a trade. I drive trucks during the week and I'm a welder on the weekends. I make 6 figures. Shout out to you. Good stuff. I remember welding from like the movie Flashdance. That girl was the welder. Shout out to welders. Cause child, somebody gotta do it. How many women are doing that? Tell us, Born Supreme, how many women are doing welding?
Of young people say they don't feel ready for the kind of work that exists today. While at the same time, employers are saying that new graduates aren't prepared for the workplace either.
This year, for the first time, members of Generation Z, those born after 1997, are expected to outnumber baby boomers in the workforce.
When asked to come in for an 8 a.m. meeting, my Gen Z new hire said, ugh, sorry, I can't make it. I have a workout class. Should this be allowed?
My visceral reaction is, are you kidding me?
I'm literally 6 months into my first corporate job and I already want to quit.
I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what today is? Today is the perfect day to go over the bare minimum Monday routine.
You say right now, you just won't hire Gen Z employees.
No, we don't. It's been a nightmare with 95% of the ones that we have hired.
It's a very high standard of living and like a very low work ethic. And so I'm just like constantly caught in between like.
Whoa. Hold on. What she say? Hold on. Let me slow this down because, child, they sounding crazy. Hold on.
5% of the ones that we have hired.
It's a very high standard of living and like a very.
She has a very high standard of living and like a very low work ethic. So like everything else, you let them talk, they tell on themselves. These are them. They're at work making TikToks. How many times have we seen people get fired for making TikToks while you're at work? And they still want to do it. They want a 10% raise every year. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Low work ethic, and so I'm just like constantly caught in between like wanting to make money but also not wanting to do anything to actually make money.
What do you mean, what is my dream job? My dream is not to have a job.
I have a fear that Gen Z are the least resilient generation that I've ever seen. And a lot of it, and this sounds so stupid and not evidence-based, but if you look at what TikTok is telling this generation work is, and there was a video that went viral on Twitter the other day.
He said TikTok is telling? And he said TikTok is telling them. No, they're telling each other by way of TikTok. Let's make sure we say that properly. It's what they're telling one another by way of TikTok. TikTok is not telling them anything. TikTok ain't coming out here making TikTok saying, y'all, you know, everything sucks and you ain't shit and you ain't gonna be shit, so give it up. No, they love listening to each other. That's what's going on.
Out in Silicon Valley, where it shows like a Facebook employee, one of the big tech companies. She arrives at work in the morning, she takes a photo of a latte, there's free muffins. She goes over and has the free muffin. It shows her in her TikTok, literally doing like 30 seconds of work. Then she's out doing some like pottery making class that work have put on. She comes back to the desk, does another 30 seconds of work. Then she's off to her work social. And I reflect on the storms that my father went through at work. And I just know so deeply inside of me that there's no way some of these younger Gen Z people could weather such a storm without quitting, doing a long LinkedIn post to criticize their employer, then quitting. And I just fear that Gen Z, when I'm hiring people that are in that generation, I almost need to go to an extra length just to check that they can cope with a high intensity culture where demands might come on a Saturday because the world doesn't stop on Saturdays and Sundays.
And when both...
I can attest to what he just said because I ain't gonna lie, I don't do it too much. I do not stress myself out, okay? I'm not interested in stress. But y'all, I work for this, okay? I just didn't come at 22 demanding and commanding shit, all right? You're gonna see in corporate America in enough places where, first of all, with the horrible weather out here on the East Coast with whatever's going on in Canada, you inside a building that has just been modernized or is modernized and you got great air filtration system, you have air conditioner, you ain't gotta worry about that. Now, does anybody want to come into the office? No, but at least there's that. Then you got a game room, I told y'all that. Then they give you free coffee and free tea and free water and all this other crap. They put all this food for you on your floor. So you don't necessarily even have to go to the cafeteria for prepared food, but you can basically get most of the other shit right on your floor. Now, I think it's strategic so that you don't leave, but that's that. They put on extravagant shit all the time. One time we had Christmas in July, which was actually amazing. You get to be outside for 2 hours fucking around. They be giving you a bunch of bullshit, which I don't need, child. You can, but I'm older, so I'm like, just tell me I can go home. I'm happy. These other people love this shit. They got games, they got bubbles, they got food, it's all free. They got all this shit. They got contests, they got dancing. I don't need all this. I just want to go home. But I go because that means I don't have to be inside. You don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of bullshit that be out there. They about to have something coming up. There's always something, especially in the summertime. So these people be complaining with all these benefits, and it's a benefit. It would be a benefit to them. It is not a benefit to me. The only benefit is that I don't have to be inside. You can just go and do this, and it's not going to be held against you. Now, obviously, if you have a deadline, you have to, you have to finish your deadline. But if not, then you can be out here effing around. You know what I mean? I mean, technically, it could be that. It could be that. There's a place in the area, or there was a bank at BNA, if y'all ever heard of it, where when they used to take care of people like cornholes and big ass picnics that were like all day and everybody knew about it, and it was exclusive to them, and they might could bring their spouse, and they had drinks, they gave away money. It was like the Wolf Street of Wall Street, whatever that movie is called. It was like that for that company. Now they out of business now. They got bought out by Bank of America. But those people have money for days, and they was throwing money away, and they only hired college graduates for the most part. They only hired college graduates, but they also had to act exactly like they said. They had to do exactly what they said. So you had to come to work on time. You had to leave on time. You also had to dress. This wasn't no jeans. It wasn't no tees. It was suits. So you had to be everything they said that you had to be. And if not, they got rid of your ass. And guess what? They all complied. You know why? Because they wanted the money. And that's how they will move forward. And in order to really, really move forward, like I said before, you better be married. Because they don't want y'all out there. Because then those people, because they had so much money and they were so young, they partied like they were young when they got out because they had to work all day like real people and real adults. So I'm saying, these people think that they get to come in now and tell the employer what to do. And I don't care who it is, what time it is, it just don't work that way. When somebody is paying you, you don't tell them what to do. They tell you what to do. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. They're going to get rid of you. Or if they see a problem, they're going to get rid of you. That's just how it works. So roll with the punches. You can expect 10%, but that's kind of ridiculous as an entry-level person. But y'all, what the hell do I know?
Both sides are looking at each other with the same concern. It stops being a simple misunderstanding. It starts to look like a system that isn't translating properly anymore. Which is how we end up in this strange loop, where frustration keeps getting redirected, but never really resolved. Because from one perspective, it looks like our generation isn't adapting fast enough, isn't disciplined enough, or simply expects too much too soon. But from another perspective, it feels like we followed a structure that no longer reflects reality. And now we're being evaluated by standards that were built for a different time. And the longer that tension sits unresolved, the easier it becomes to reduce it to something simple. Like,
look, listen to what I tell you. Potlucks are done since C19. And if I ever hear about anybody doing a potluck, they're crazy. What I'm talking about, what they did at that facility at MBNA, it wasn't no potlucks, child. This was catered. Okay? Catered. And with the things that corporations do now, they're not doing no potlucks for the most part. They're catering too. Actually, they use their internal facilities. They use the people that already work for them because they contract out for the food. So there ain't no more potlucks. And anybody that's eating at a potluck is crazy. And any company that's doing potluck, they crazy-er.
Like attitude or effort, even when the reality is much more layered than that.
You are in a very difficult and uncomfortable position because I think leadership is more difficult now than it has ever been, because you're dealing with human anxiety, you're dealing with human uncertainty, you're dealing with human ambition and human egos, and again, especially young people who think they know what they want and don't, who have certainty and are very outspoken and do not mind going around their boss's boss to come to you. You know, so you're going to be dealing with a 19-year-old saying, "Why am I not given this?" And you're like, "I don't need. Where do you work?" You know. They have no fear of doing that. They also have no fear of quitting. And so we've seen this pattern where, remember, they're as a young generation, they're actually less equipped to deal with stress than previous generations. And so anxiety is high, and they're very confrontation avoidant. So, for example, we've seen this where they feel like they deserve a raise, and they don't know how to ask for a raise. And so instead of asking for a raise, they'll just quit. And then sometimes with an email that says, "You don't value me, you don't pay me enough," you're like, we just had to ask. The answer, we love you, you know? So they're not afraid of quitting. But
you don't value me, chum. So I'm going to quit. Woo, Lord help your people.
They are afraid of asking for things. Or if they do ask for things, it sometimes comes across very aggressive or accidentally black and white. Like, I've been here 8 months and I would like a 50% raise. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, and the problem is that they're ill-equipped. What they're doing is they're putting you in a yes or no position. So even if you say, "Here's the plan to get you that over the course of the next 8 months," they take it as a no.
The world didn't just change.
Yes, because these are the entitled generation. They think they deserve everything when they want it. You can't have what you want when you want it. It just don't work that way. So you can get to where you want to be, but they're going to tell you what you need to do and how you need to get there. But like he said, they want it right there and right now. He's explaining corporate life exactly how it goes. I mean, I'm not talking about these Gen Z people because they sound crazy, but I'm talking about the way that it works. How you move forward, what you need to do. You don't just come in and just get it. I mean, some people get hired into their positions probably because they work someplace else. That makes sense. But you don't come out of college and come in talking about, child, what you're going to do is give me a 50% raise or a 10% raise because I'm me and I just got here. Child, y'all sound crazy.
Change in one way. It changed in multiple directions at the same time. Technology didn't just improve efficiency. It redefined entire roles. Globalization didn't just expand opportunity. It expanded competition. And now, with automation and artificial intelligence entering the picture.
You know what? Not to cut in again. As I look at different jobs, because I'm partially job hunting, right? There are jobs outside of the country. And how come these people ain't looking at those? I feel like I always see like Germany, UK. It's like you can go unless they are stuck where they are. Why are these people that's so smart and know so much are not trying to work in different places and different spaces? Because I'm going to assume most of these people here don't have children. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say most of these people don't have children. Leave. That's another thing that a lot of people don't do. They don't leave. I don't care. I'll go. I've always said that. If the money is right. I had a friend who used to work in my same state, and then she found a job in Florida. And she would go there and do the job during the week and come home during the weekends. And it worked. And it worked for her. And then at some point, the husband got a job and then he went down there too. I mean, these people just think one way. What is it? When you just look forward, I guess, and not to the side. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm using my hands if you could see me. So you only look straight. You don't look to the side. I don't understand. These are supposed to be smart people.
Many of the roles that used to serve as entry points are either disappearing or evolving faster than education systems can keep up with, which creates a situation where the starting line itself becomes harder to find. So you reach the end of this long process. Years of effort, structure, and expectation, believing you're about to begin something, and instead, you pause. Not because you chose to, but because there's nowhere clear to step into. And I think that's the part that's hardest to explain, because from the outside, it can look like hesitation, but from the inside, it feels like waiting for something that never fully arrives. And at the same time, it would be incomplete to only look outward, because there's also a question that we don't always ask ourselves, which is whether we adapted as quickly as the world around us was changing. Because while the system did shift, we were still moving through it as if the outcome was guaranteed. And maybe part of this disconnect comes from relying on a structure without fully questioning whether it still worked. This doesn't mean opportunity disappeared. It means it evolved. And understanding that difference might be the first step toward figuring out what comes next.
I'm a Gen Z blue-collar worker, and here is why I love working in the trades.
I'm 19 years old. I do asphalt. Day to life of a 19-year-old plumber. Here's how much I make as a...
Well, shout out to these babies. All right, I give credit where credit is due, and thank you. Tunnel vision is what I meant. Thank you so much. Shout out to the blue-collar workers, because a lot of blue-collar jobs ain't going nowhere. Shout out to sanitation. Where y'all think the trash is ever going to go? Probably welding. Like, I forget who said that they were a welder. Yeah, I don't know about the driving jobs, but there's always another driving job. There really is. Even if like they've gotten rid of FedEx. And probably one of the reasons why they got rid of like a lot of jobs from FedEx and UPS is because everyone is using Amazon. So if you're using Amazon for everything, what the hell do they need so many drivers for the rest of it? So that's just what I think. I could be wrong, because you have people. You know, Amazon uses people. I know they have some trucks, but for the most part, you get to work for Amazon. Think about this. You get to work for Amazon, and then you get to use your own car, and then you get to use your gas, and then you get to fix your car in order to work for them. I'm just like, wait a minute. Just after a while, after doing DoorDash, but we made DoorDash work. Everybody in my family was doing DoorDash during the pandemic. And we went straight to to the good neighborhoods. Just let's go ahead and say it, where the white people were. And first of all, they was buying shit. And second of all, they was tipping like crazy. So it was worth it. It was worth it at the end of the day to take the ride to where they were and to DoorDash for about 4 or 5 hours. It was definitely worth it. Think outside of the box. Why am I do that mess around here for, child? These people got the same amount of money I do, and they ain't tipping no better than I do. I mean, what is it? 10-15% is great. But child, if there's people up here doing 20-25, I gotta go. I got to go. We all up there. Westchester, shout out to those that know. Westchester, Pennsylvania, those are the houses where they were for $1 million, long ass driveways. They just be like, leave it at the gate. Not a problem, child. Not a problem.
19-year-old underground electrical helper.
Come work a 10-hour shift with me as a 19-year-old truck driver.
What made me want to start an electrical apprenticeship at
19-year-old truck driver at almost $30 an hour. Shout out to him.
20.
For decades, we've been fed this idea. Go to school, memorize useless information, spend $100,000 on college, and if you're lucky, you get to work a mediocre office job that you hate. And we're told that if you don't follow this path, you're a failure. But Gen Z is the first generation with enough balls to reject this system. Gen Z is turning to trade jobs. And this isn't just a trend. It's the biggest career shift we had in decades, and a complete revolution in the job market. 42% of Gen Z individuals are either working in or pursuing blue-collar jobs. Even Gen Z college graduates are tapping out, as 37% of those with bachelor's degrees are choosing blue-collar work.
Generation Z is redefining its career preferences. Unlike previous generations that prioritize traditional corporate careers, a significant proportion choose...
Whoever the welder is, they could be working over here. I can't do that. I can't do that. You got that. Somebody got to do it. Shout out to, again, to the welder and all the blue collars, because, you know, for those that are blue collar and everybody else might know, even if you're a driver for one place and it don't work, there's always some sort of transportation, because people are never going to stop spending money. I don't care what they say. So then that means the goods need to be delivered. I don't know if people think like that. Goods are going to always have to be delivered, even when they come from China. Okay. Once they get here, somebody got to take that shit out of here. 18-wheelers. There's women that do drive trucks like 18-wheelers. I see them on TikTok. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. There's nothing wrong with it.
Uses technical and manual trades. These represent roughly 65% of young professionals. These occupations, far from disappearing due to automation, benefit from technological integration. For instance, installing solar panels or managing smart grids requires both technical and practical skills.
Those big consultancy firms somehow relish putting out reports saying this many million jobs will be automated and lost, and it kind of creates panic. It gets a lot of traction, a lot of publicity, and I guess because it's simple, it's just saying there'll be automation. And it's much more complicated, actually, to, look in detail about what's happening with jobs and how they're changing. It's like letter writing and emails. It isn't like emails are the same as letters, but faster. Emails are written in a different...
Generation X, do you remember once you had a job interview that you had to write a thank you letter or thank you note? See, this is where I always say blame your moms too, right? My mother said every single time you have an interview, you write a handwritten thank you note. I had bought the cards, I think from like the dollar store, where it just says thank you on the outside and then it's a blank on the inside, and you write out just like you see over here on the right hand side. Now that was at a time where you couldn't you had people's addresses then, right? Now when you do jobs, since you do it over the phone a lot of the times, you don't have people's addresses and it's never gonna make it to them. So a handwritten note went a long way, y'all. A handwritten note went a long way. So now all they can do is send an email if you have their email address, which is fine, but you still have to do it. I think you should still do it. Now, the entitled generation, the laziest generations, I'm just thinking they probably don't do none of that. But even if you can only do email, it probably goes a longer way, especially when you make it a little longer and you write it yourself, not chat GPT it, because child, people can tell. Child, people can tell. So just freaking write it. Just make sure you spell it right. And then you make sure that the paragraph looks right.
Different way. They mean something different. They communicate something different. It's a completely different mode of communication, the shift from a letter to an email. And I'd say that's the case with, the application of technology to any kind of work. It actually changes the nature of the job, and often profoundly. This technological revolution will do amazing things. I mean, there are phenomenal applications of predictive technologies. There are myriad ways in which these technologies will improve our lives, medical lives, energy. But what happens, as far as I can see through my long history of looking at these things, is that some jobs are replaced, some jobs are changed, and lots of different kinds of jobs are created. And at any point in time, it's very hard to know which of those things is going to be the dominant thing.
And when you think about it like that, it stops feeling like failure and starts feeling like translation. Like we were taught one language for success and then dropped into a world that speaks another. And now, whether we like it or not, we're the ones who have to figure out how to speak it.
Yes, it's you. Whether you like it or not, it's up to y'all to figure it out. So all this complaining is not going to change nothing. It ain't going to change nothing. You're just going to be sitting here looking crazy, talking crazy. That's exactly the answer right there.
Because if this moment is confusing, it's not because we're lost. It's because we're early. Early in a version of the world that no one fully understands yet. And that uncertainty, as uncomfortable.
Generation X, did y'all understand the world when the internet started? I didn't. I'm just saying. You either roll with the punches. Anybody ever heard that before? I guess these people don't know that. You can't do what you want to do. You're going to have to change. That's just how it works. Shout out to Trey. I appreciate you. He said, I'm not going to lie. I use ChatGPT to revise my resume. Abso-fucking-lutely. I do the same thing. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's what it's there for. That's where it should sound like professional, and you can actually make it change to sound like however you want to. I'm just saying. It's there for a reason. You can use it for good, you can use it for evil, but use it, in my opinion. But TLA, I think it was TLA that was telling us about ChatGPT way back in Mastermind before it really became a big thing. And then he was just like, you better get on board back then and use it. I'm giving out Mastermind secrets. He's like, you better get on board and use it. You better get on board and use it. I know it now. And I know there's a lot more that I need to know about it. And I'm freaking 55. So how come these people don't know it and can't do it? I mean, they can. It's just a matter of they just want to keep saying that they weren't taught right, and it's not right, it's not fair. But child, that's enough of that. Shout out to this video though. If you want to subscribe to this person, I'm gonna drop the channel in a second, but I'm gonna move on to this one where this is Frank Educates and Retired Frank. So I guess I got two channels, but it says Psychology of Younger Black Generation X Men Born Between 1973 to 1980. Are y'all in here? Let's see what they have. Damn. They said, y'all drinking already? Is that what y'all be doing? Shout out to everybody that is here. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new.
You ever watch a man in his late 40s pour a drink at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, help his daughter with her algebra at 5, take a call from his mama's nursing home at 6, and then sit in his truck in the driveway at 9 just to get 10 minutes of quiet before he walks in his own house? You know that man. You might be that man. Folks call him grown. They call him solid. They call him the one who handles it. Nobody calls him tired because he won't say it. I'm Franklin, and today we're talking about a very specific stretch of black men nobody really studies on purpose. The brothers born between 1973 and 1980. The late Gen X cats. Not the older Gen
I'm on the late Gen X cats.
X who remember Reagan getting elected. Not the millennials who remember 9/11 in middle school. The ones in between.
Wait, hold on. I don't remember Ronald Reagan getting elected because I didn't pay attention to it, but I remember him being president. Definitely remember 9/11. Married with 2 kids. Working at a state job. Everybody always remembers where they were for 9/11. I don't know about Ronald Reagan though.
Gen X who
I just know that was the 80s. That's all I know with him.
Remember Reagan getting elected. Not the millennials who remember.
I remember Reagan getting shot though. Outside on some corner about to get in his car by some white man child. That I do remember.
Remember 9/11 in middle school. The ones in between. The ones who turned 5 right when crack hit, turned 10 when the bodies started piling up, and turned 16 when the federal prison population had already multiplied several times over. The ones who learned how to be men in one of the loudest, most violent, most surveilled stretches of modern black American life, and then grew up and got handed the bill for all of it. The drinking, the silence, the overfunctioning, the suspicion of every doctor in every form. A lot of it traces back to a window of time most people don't even know was a window. Let me start with what these men are actually doing right now, because the behavior is the receipt. Researchers at Ohio State led by Hui Zhang ran a national study on generational health, and they found something most people missed in the headlines. Heavy drinking and street drug use have been climbing across generations, and the study flagged late Gen X and early millennial black men as a group where those numbers stand out. Born roughly 19...
Y'all was out here drinking? What was y'all out here doing? Y'all, let me know. What is the tea? Yes, you are a late generation X. Pooh Man says he was in middle school during 9/11. Lord help your people. I'm old. I was in high school, could see the smoke from the World Trade Center all the way in Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. Wow.
1973 to 1980 on the Gen X side. That's a group whose drinking probability climbed and whose street drug use ticked back up after years of decline. Now, if you stop right there, you get the lazy version of the story. Black men in their late 40s, drinking more, doing more, dying earlier. That's the version that ends up in a think piece somebody's nephew shares on LinkedIn.
Oh, y'all, what? Hold on. What did he say?
Decline. Now, if you stop right there, you get the lazy version of the story. Black men in their late 40s, drinking more, doing more, dying earlier.
Oh, no. Is that what was going on, y'all?
That's the version that ends up in a think piece somebody's nephew shares on LinkedIn. But the full story is why this exact birth window. What happened to a 5-year-old in 1980 that didn't happen to a 15-year-old in 1980? What hit a 10-year-old in 1985 that the kid born in 1965 had already aged out of? Here's where it gets specific. In the late 1980s, the homicide rate for young black males in their teens climbed sharply, more than doubling in a handful of years. The kids born 1973 to 1980 were between 4 and 16 years old during that window. So picture the math. If you were born in 1975, you were 9 when the killing started climbing and a teenager when it peaked. You didn't read about the crack era. You lived inside it as a child.
Oh, now I remember the crack era, yeah. Not because I was around it, but just from TV and whatnot. Is that where y'all were at? Y'all know about that? Y'all know about that?
Your cousins were the statistics. Your block was the data set. Your elementary school had assemblies about it. And while that was happening to you on the ground, the federal government was busy making it permanent on paper. Georgetown's O'Neill Institute laid out the receipts. The 1986 sentencing law created a 100-to-1 ratio between crack and powder cocaine. 5 grams of crack got you the same mandatory minimum as 500 grams of powder.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Shout out to Joe Biden. He helped y'all, too. He helped, too. I'm not saying it's all his fault at all. I'm just saying he helped, too. I'm just saying.
About 80% of the people charged with crack offenses in federal court were black. The federal prison population for nonviolent drug offenses went from around 50,000 in 1980 to roughly 400,000 by 1997.
So the stars should know about this. Where did all the men go? They in jail, child. They in jail. Oh my God, look what you did. Child, 1 minute it's the government did it. The next minute it's this, it's that. It's all these damn reasons, right? However, we do know in the 80s, there's a lot of men that did go to jails, particularly black men. Now they want to sit here and they want to sit here and say that it's y'all's fault, of course. Now, why are people still selling drugs today would be my question. And why are people allowing it? Why? And no one's doing anything about it. Why? Who targeted blacks and the hippies? The hippies were out here. Now that I remember hippies in big old fields singing their music. They was on something. It wasn't crack. They was on something for sure because they was so happy. That I remember. There was a lot of Mary Jane smoking in my family because that's all I was around. Because remember I told y'all in the 70s they all had vans. Now this is before these people, but they had vans, and so they would just ride around in the vans with a bunch of people in the car, kids mostly in the back, and then park somewhere and have a cookout picnic. But they were still over there doing something because you could smell it. That's why I know weed smell like the back of my hand, and it stinks to me. Oh, is that what they was doing? I believe it. It was definitely not weed for the white people, but they was doing something for sure. They are not absolved.
So when you were in 3rd grade learning cursive, Congress was writing the law that would empty out parts of your neighborhood by the time you graduated high school.
Oh, look at Baltimore, child. That's what it looked like.
Grade learning cursive, Congress was writing the law that would empty out parts of your neighborhood.
Child, many of places that look like that.
But by the time you graduated high school, and then look at who got caught in it. A study published through the National Institutes of Health tracked the lifetime risk of going to prison by birth year. For black men born 1965 to 1969, the older Gen X, about 22% could expect to serve time. For black men born around 1981, the millennials right behind our group, the lifetime risk climbed to about 1 in 3. The
1973 that's a lot.
73 to 1980 cohort sits right on the slope between those two numbers, going up. The reason wasn't a...
Bill Cosby did try to do something, whether people want to believe it or not. He did try to help. He did try to say something and help.
New decision to lock more people up. The laws written when you were a kid started biting when you became a teenager. So now you understand the floor these brothers were standing on when they became men. Crack at the door, homicide at the corner, federal sentencing in the air, and a country that had decided the answer to all of it was cages. You still with me? Good, because here's where it gets interesting. This same cohort, the one the data says is drinking more and using more, is also, statistically, one of the most involved parenting groups in the country.
Oh no. Oh no. So even when y'all was high and drunk, y'all was out here taking care of the kids. And you know somebody else is going to say that that's not true. You wasn't shit. You ain't been shit. I'm not saying it. This man is saying it. He's saying it per CDC, I believe is what he said. Because you know they're going to come through and be upset. The hating hoes.
Sentencing in the air. And a country that had decided the answer to all of it was cages. You still with me? Good, because here's where it gets interesting. This same cohort, the one the data says is drinking more and using more, is also, statistically, one of the most involved parenting groups in the country. And almost nobody talks about that out loud. The CDC ran a national health statistics report that Newsweek wrote up a few years back. They looked at fathers who lived with their kids and asked who was doing the daily care, bathing, dressing, diapering, helping with the bathroom. Around 70% of black fathers said they did that every single day.
What? What? I know you effing lying. I know somebody is lying. Somebody is lying. I don't care. We got CDC here and Newsweek. Somebody is lying. Somebody is lying.
He talks about that out loud. The CDC ran a national health statistics report that Newsweek wrote up a few years back. They looked at fathers who lived with their kids and asked who was doing the daily care, bathing, dressing, diapering, helping with the bathroom. Around 70% of black fathers said they did that every single day. About 60% of white fathers. About 45% of Hispanic fathers. Black fathers were the highest group in the country.
So Hispanics are the deadbeats. Don't come for me. I'm just going by the information. So you Hispanics are the deadbeats. And that's who the 92% is trying to keep in the country. I tell you.
On daily hands-on care. The absent black father story is a story. The data tells a different one. And it gets sharper. A peer-reviewed study by Jay Fagan in the Journal of Family Issues looked specifically at low-income black fathers, the group the stereotype was built around. Resident, non-resident, didn't matter.
Well, that would make sense. So always go to the low income and then blast that shit amongst us all, child. And then hate for the fact that some of us are not low income. You should be happy that a lot of us are not low income. But the way that the mind of the community works is like, you think you're better. No, you're just upset that I have more. That's it. So would you like to learn or would you like to just complain and hate? That's what I don't understand. But child, that's just me. Let's rewind a little bit.
On daily hands-on care. The absent black father story is a story. The data tells a different one. And it gets sharper. A peer-reviewed study by Jay Fagan in the Journal of Family Issues looked specifically at low-income black fathers, the group the stereotype was built around. Resident, non-resident, didn't matter. They were no less involved with their children than fathers of any other racial group. So what does that mean for the man we're talking about?
Oh, so the low incomes was with their kids too. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Now, this is from data and statistics that he's saying, of which is when we heard about a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, it was from data and statistics too. But you know, some people say that that's not true. They say that's a lie. I don't know why. Why? I don't understand. Jealous of the people that you chose to have kids with? That don't make sense to me. But child, that's me. Because like I said, what was around me are men who participated with their children's lives. And we had a lot of girls in the family, okay? A lot of men that participated in their children's lives regularly. I've been watched by many of my uncles. So it looks like we got a hating hoe in the chat. Which of course you expected, typical, right? But all of my uncles took care of all their kids. They took care of all their kids. So I could go and stay with my cousin. My uncle is there. His wife is there as well. But if you live a life where, you know, you're around deadbeats, then that's what you would see, right? Then that's what it is. That don't make it true for everyone. And like I said, there'd be people that be like, you know, there's something weird about me. No, there's not weird about me. So y'all just be upset that everybody didn't grow up this way. Please understand and know that everybody doesn't grow up the same. So honestly, you should want typically better for your own kids instead of doing the same dumb shit that may have happened to you do to your kids. The things that I did not appreciate that my mom did to me and my sister, I said I wasn't going to do it to my children. Did I do it all right? No. But I definitely said, I don't like this. I'm not doing this. And we all probably say that when we're younger, and a lot of people don't do it. But for the most part, which was the most important thing, is I made sure I told my kids every single time I talk to them that I love them. And that's not something that I ever had. Ever, never, no way. From my mother. From my grandmother, absolutely all the time. It was not even a question. So that's a major thing that I changed. Some people, like, hating hoes, don't ever want to change anything. They would just want to complain. They just want to disparage everything. They want to be nasty, negative, and then wonder why shit don't work out. Because when you're nasty and you're negative, that's the result that you get. I'm just saying. Like it, love it, leave it. I don't give a damn. Blame your mom. Blame your mom. Because I'm sure that was the catalyst for everything. Because I'm not going to act like mine wasn't. God, I had father over in the war, and I had the other one who was recruiting people to go into the military. Again, shout out to our veterans too. We always appreciate veterans around here. We always acknowledge them and blue collar workers, because hating hoes don't realize where the real money resides because they don't know nothing about money. But y'all, I'm gonna digress on that right now. Shout out to Ashy Foot up in here. Thank you, Boo. He said, FYI, this clip was made by Ashy AI Narration LLC. Be on the lookout for my next AI narration clip called No Ashy, No Baby for Kendra Gilliams. Shout out to Kendra Gilliams. Child, that heifer. There's something going on with her we got to get to too, but I digress on that.
The brother born in 1976? It means he's drinking on Tuesday and helping with algebra on Tuesday. Both things. He's the one who showed up. He's the one who decided whatever happened in his house growing up, whether his daddy was there or wasn't, whether his daddy was working 3 jobs or locked up or just checked out, he was going to be different. And he is. He just doesn't get a parade for it. He gets a Newsweek headline every 5.
Oh, now say that that's not true. That actually is true. I was just thinking that, but he just said it for me. The thing is that men don't be out here bragging about shit. It's only biatches that got to brag about shit. Look what I did. Nobody cares. I went and did this. Child, nobody cares. All this bragging is annoying. Being braggadocious is, I'm not sure the word, but it's definitely annoying. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. That's your own personal accolade. You take that shit and you be happy, or take it to your own family and be happy about it. The rest of the world does not care. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I washed my own ass yesterday. Clap for me. Child, no. Just shut the hell up and go ahead and degree yourself on up. And then don't turn around and worry about or complain and cry about the amount of debt that you can't pay off. We do not care. I don't. You already know I don't care. But the bragging is annoying, and nobody likes that. Because, child, what good is that going to do when you can't get a job, like we just watched with Generation Z, and you can't get a job and you can't pay your bills? You can have all the degrees that you want to. What's bragging about it going to change? Nothing. It seems like it didn't actually work out for you. So what are you bragging for? Then turn around and say, oh, I'm going to go back to college again. Child, if it didn't work the first time, why are you going again? If it didn't work the second time, why are you going again? If it didn't work the third time, why are you going again? So you can brag and say, look, I got another degree. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Whether his daddy was there or wasn't, whether his daddy was working 3 jobs or locked up or just checked out, he was going to be different. And he is. He just doesn't get a parade for it. He gets a Newsweek headline every 5 years saying the myth isn't real, and then everybody goes back to acting like it is. And here's the part nobody connects. The overfunctioning at home is part of the same nervous system that produces the drinking. You don't get one without the other in a lot of these men. The vigilance that makes you a present father is the same vigilance that won't let you sit still on a Saturday. The control that keeps you sober at your kid's recital is the same control that needs 2 drinks to come down off at night. The job that lets you afford the house is the same job that's been telling you for 20 years that you're lucky to have it. Speaking of the job, let me talk about the money, because this is where the story gets really uncomfortable. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis put out a report in 2024 on the income gap for Black workers. They looked at W-2 earnings, actual paychecks, not surveys. In 2019, the median Black man was earning about 62% of what the median white man was earning, 62 cents on the dollar. And the gap between 2009 and 2019 actually got wider at most income levels. Black men were the only male group in the country whose earnings fell relative to white men over that decade. Not stayed flat, fell. Now think about who was working through that decade. The 1973 to 1980 cohort. The brothers who were 29 to 36 years old in 2009 and 39 to 46 in 2019. The prime earning years of their lives. The years when other groups were compounding raises, building equity, getting promotions. This group was watching their relative position get worse. The reason wasn't laziness. The structure of work in America shifted, and they were the ones holding the short end. And while that was happening, something else was happening at the
Well, I wonder if their wives was supporting and helping, encouraging. I wonder if that was going on. Just asking.
same time. And this is where you start to feel the weight on the man's shoulders. A study using the CDC's Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System found that roughly 31% of Gen X are sandwich generation caregivers. That means they're taking care of a parent and a child at the same time.
Oh, wow. Now, if you know somebody that's doing this, I am fortunate enough that my mom is out exploring the world. And we all know that my dad is in a home, but because he was in assisted living, but because he was in the military and worked for the federal government, he got more money than, I won't say the Lord, but he got plenty of money. So prayerfully, he's able to afford to take care of himself. We know that most people can't and won't or don't have that opportunity. So thankfully that. So while we take care of him, we really don't take care of him as much as we may have to if he didn't have all that. So that's the other thing I think a lot of people don't think about, the future and what the hell you gonna do when you get older, because you just might not be in the same shape as you are now then. But I don't think people think about the future. You know what I mean? Everybody can't take care of their family. My auntie and my mom took care of their mom, my grandmother, because she had dementia, which was amazing for them to do. Hard to watch, I'm sure, but thankfully and prayerfully, she had money as well, but they were not going to put her in a home, thank God. And then there will be people that will say, you know, that it's wrong to have money. Money gonna help you one way or the other. It ain't because you need to be paying $2,500 for Chris Dan Brown. That don't make sense to me. That's what you save money for. That's what you got to think about the future. You can't have everything that you want right now. Then if you're deciding that you don't want to get married, then you got to do it all on your own. So do it. Don't complain about it if that's what you want. I'm just saying. Shout out to Smell the Roses in the building. Shout out to Ollie. Y'all hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new.
Compared to about 6% of baby boomers, 5 times the rate. And the same study found Gen X caregivers report higher mental distress than the boomer caregivers did. More anxiety, more frequent bad mental health days. So the
Oh, you know how they always say that baby boomers have a lot of money? That is true. They do. They do. But like I always say too, instead of pocket watching people, maybe you should ask them some tips on what you can do in order to be better. Because my mother's a baby boomer. Like I said, she's traveling the world right now. Got more money than she needs to. My dad, more money than he needs to have. Or I'm not going to say needs to have, but more money than they probably thought that they would ever have. And so that's why they can do what they can do. So a lot of the monetary tips that I do have came from my mom. My dad not good with money, but he got so much it doesn't matter. He's really not good with money, but that's a different story. Instead of going and asking someone who has succeeded in what it is that you want, Generation Z will not ask. They just hate. That's the difference. Instead of asking, they just hate and they assume. They say, they think that we just came in like this. They just think that we didn't have to work for anything. And they don't look, again, at the fact that people are coupled together. That's what they had to do. Well, that's what a lot of people did. That's what a lot of people did. They don't want to do that. You can't want to do it all by yourself and then complain when you're doing it by yourself and it don't work out. Stop talking about this stupid ass 50-50 shit. Playing games for playing game's sake because that's what you see other people doing, going along with dumb shit. Then talk about capitalism and be participating in it every day. Then complain about how much money you don't make. Well, you probably make enough money, you just spending too much money. Don't want to look at that. There's plenty of things in order to improve your situation. You just don't want to do it because the Generation Z wants to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And then they want everyone else to take care of them as far as their needs are concerned. I'm not doing it. That's why you got Generation Z saying, grandparents don't take care of grandkids. You're right. I don't. I took care of you. I'm not doing it. That's your job. Get it done. Buckle up, Buttercup, because I'm not doing it. You didn't marry that man that you had a kid with? That's a you problem. You didn't make sure you had a commitment from that man? That's a you problem. Figure it out.
Man born in 1976 is paying for his kids' braces and his mama's blood pressure pills out of the same check. The check that's been losing ground for 10 years. And nobody asks him how he's doing because he's the one who handles it. You see how the picture starts to fill in? You see why the drinking is going up? Now here's the thing. You'd think a man under that much pressure would go talk to somebody, get a therapist, get on a medication, get
Y'all not getting therapy, yeah?
into a men's group, something. He doesn't.
Y'all don't want the TikTok therapist, the therapize, yeah?
And the research says he doesn't, in numbers. A 2023 study by Coleman Karumba and her colleagues looked at black men and mental health help seeking. Black men seek mental health care at significantly lower rates than white adults. The drivers they found were the things you already know if you grew up around these men. Self-reliance, emotional control, the idea that asking for help is what other people do. And it gets deeper. Research out of the National Survey of American Life found that black men can have lower diagnosed rates of some anxiety and mood disorders than some other groups. But when they do have one, the chronicity is higher, it lasts longer, and the treatment utilization is lower. The difference is duration. They carry it longer and get less help when they finally name it. Put that together. A man who came up under crack era violence, watched the federal system gear up to swallow his cohort, hit his earning years and watched the gap widen, picked up his mama's care and his kids' care at the same time, and learned from everything around him that the move is to handle it yourself.
I was about to say, you still don't see him out here running off at the mouth and complaining about it. Now listen, hating hoes in Generation Z, don't think that I'm doing some black men don't do nothing wrong, because child, they most definitely do. They most definitely do. But they definitely have handled a lot. I've seen it. I've seen it in my own family, and they don't run around bragging about shit. They don't be going around complaining about shit. They do have some bad behaviors. Let's not get it twisted. And I did not say all, miss me with your bullshit. All right. However, for the most part, you don't hear them out here whining and complaining about having to take care of this one, having to take care of that one, having a way to have to figure it out. I've not heard it. And I know there's people in my family that still are doing it. My aunt and uncle, which I missed family call last night because I just couldn't handle it, because it'll be a political conversation. I wasn't in the mood. Because they're all Democrats. And while I'm not necessarily anything, I'm independent, they definitely are people who are going to sit up here and start talking about how bad everything is, like it wasn't bad beforehand. But I digress. There's been people who've had some issues, and they ain't people in my family that go into therapy either, as far as I know. Now, maybe they did and they just didn't tell nobody, because that's always a thing too. You know, people, you can do shit and you can shut the fuck up and keep it to yourself. I'm just saying. But you know, biatches got to talk. And just because other people don't talk don't mean that they're not doing it. They can just do it in private. Everything don't have to be shared, right? So there's plenty of people, unfortunately, plenty of men who are abusers. They are, because they don't know how to deal. They can't handle themselves, because I have a whole ass, another content creator that's doing a series on that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go over it too. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But I don't think a lot of people want to take that into consideration. But these are people that you got to stay away from, just like the people who are in your family that we all know are in our families or have been in our families at one point, that were essayers to kids, essayers in the family, and they still have them around, which is mentally crazy. It's crazy to have a person in your family be around your family knowing that they got issues like that. So you gotta, you know, decide what you're gonna do about that. Like I said, we just left because I can't have my kids around crazy ass shit like that. But a lot of black people just think it's normal. It's not normal. You just, I don't know. I don't like when you put kids in danger. Me personally, I just don't like that at all. Especially mine. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't care who you are. We gotta go. Thank you, RBN. He said late Gen X men wives were too busy leaving during money slowdowns, but we gonna be good. Oh, Lord. All right, y'all. Is that you being good? Shout out to Mike Love. Good morning, boo. He said, I believe baby boomers' money didn't get affected by inflation. Now that I don't know. You might be right. I can't even comment on that. But we've all been through a bad economy, because that's just how it works. It's good, it's bad, it's up, it's down. You roll with the punches. And while I do kind of believe that maybe Generation Z does have a point with some of the things that they say. What I also know is that sitting here acting like a damn child, thinking that somebody's supposed to take care of you ain't the answer. And you don't just quit jobs because they don't let you go lay down when you feel like you're ready to take a nap. Now, none of that makes sense. But if that's what they want to do it. Have at it. But don't blame anybody else but yourself. Did we expect the freaking for people that lived in New York? Did anybody expect for the World Trade Center towers to be toppled? I don't think anybody expected that, right? What you think? Rest in peace to those that died, right? What's the rest of the city supposed to do? Shut the hell down? New York is just as big as it was before. Shit happens. It's called life. You figure it the fuck out and you move on. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's it. Keep living in the past. Keep worrying about this is what happened. This is the problem. This is because, or do something about it. But y'all, what do I know?
That's the man drinking on Tuesday. Call it what it is, a logical conclusion to a 30-year setup. Now let me give you the cultural piece, because this one doesn't get talked about, and it matters. There's a scholar named Bakari Kitwana and another one named Pero Dagbovi who write about what they call the hip-hop generation, and they split it. The older cut, black folks born roughly 1965 to the mid-1970s, came up inside what people sometimes call nation-conscious rap, Public Enemy, KRS-One.
Yes, that would be me. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was the best time. That's what I think. That was the best time. Conscious rap.
X-Clan, rap that was teaching black history while it was rhyming. The younger cut, born late 1970s into the early 1980s, came of age after that wave broke. They came up in the gangster rap era, Death Row, No Limit, the shiny suit years. JSTOR Daily summarized this work and described a documented gap in historical consciousness between the older and younger ends of that generation. I'm not here to argue one era of music was better than another. That's a different video. The point is this. The man born in 1968 got his history lessons from Chuck D when he was 15. The man born in 1978 got his worldview from a different...
I got a lot of lessons from them too, but I told y'all my mama was not playing. She always made us learn about Black history, and during Black History Month, we had to do book reports and find stories, read books. She was making us do workbooks, all that type of stuff. Pretty sure that these kids aren't having any of that being done today. So they get to listen to Spin Dat and watch people defend it.
Well, my scanning ass fellas, I spending that money fast, 20s, 50s, 100s cash. Boy, going at Goyard bag, boosting ladies where y'all at, stuffing that shit in your bag, just to flip it, pop some tags. Girl, going at Goyard bag, spend that shit, spend that shit, spend that shit, baby, spend that shit, spend that shit, spend that shit, spend that shit, baby, spend that shit. Woo!
set of records when he was 15. Same neighborhood, same parents sometimes, different curriculum on the radio. And it shows up later in life in how the two men interpret what happened to them. The older brother is more likely to frame his life as a political condition. The younger one is more likely to frame it as a personal hustle that didn't pay off. Same conditions, two different mirrors. That matters because the way you tell the story of your own life determines what you do with the pain. If your pain is a political condition, you might organize, you might write, you might call somebody. If your pain is just your personal hustle not paying off, you sit with it alone and you pour a drink. So now stack it all together one more time because I want you to see the man whole. He's between 44 and 51 years old right now. He was a small child during the worst of the crack violence. He was a teenager when the federal prison machine got built around his cohort. He came into the workforce just in time for the gap to widen against him. He's raising his kids more hands-on than the stereotype says. He's taking care of his mama. He's drinking more than the generations before him. He avoids therapy. And the cultural language he was handed at 15 taught him to read his pain as a personal story rather than a structural one. Call him what he is, a man carrying the bill for choices made by people who never met him, with tools that were handed to him by accident, in a culture that told him the right answer was to handle it. And here is what I want you to do with this, because I'm not in the business of just laying out the autopsy. If you're that man, the first move isn't a self-help book. The first move is just naming the window you came up in, not as an excuse, as context. The drinking is a coping tool that worked for a long time and is now starting to charge interest. The avoidance of doctors is a learned response to institutions that have a documented history of treating your cohort like a problem to be managed. The overfunctioning at home is one of the most quietly heroic stories in American family life that does not get a single
Sorry, y'all. True Hype, thank you for the flowers. Appreciate you.
magazine cover. Now, none of that means you keep doing it the same way for the next 20 years. The sandwich generation data is clear. The men carrying both ends are not winning the carrying. They're getting sicker doing it. So the work, if you're going to do any work.
Y'all, how many times I tell y'all you better go to damn doctor? Child. That's what I know and was taught as well. You go to every single doctor appointment once a year, twice for the dentist and once for the GYN. And when you don't feel good, you go to the doctor. Y'all know y'all don't go to no damn doctors. Y'all know you don't. Go get that damn prostate checked and all that other shit that y'all got to do that you don't like. I had to make my husband go. Yes, I said make him. I had to make him go because he was not on that type of schedule in the beginning. And I'm like, who are you? Child, we don't have time for you to be dying. Carry your ass to the damn doctor. I will go to the doctor. I don't care. And a heart, what am I paying for this insurance for if I don't go to the doctor when something is wrong? And then people would turn around and say that the doctors don't care about black people. They ain't got to care about black people because I care about me. And if I feel like the fucking doctor ain't doing right by me, I will change in a heartbeat. So the people, my main doctor just freaking retired. I don't know what her problem is. And then my GYN retired. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? What is going on? I guess they're as old as me. So now I got to go find new ones. And if they don't feel right, I'm changing. I don't care. I don't care. Joseph, sorry to hear that. Prayers to you. And then we have ignorance like this. So if this is your viewpoint, then it can be your viewpoint. But I'm saying for moi and for most black people, especially black men, y'all don't be going to the doctors, especially when you're supposed to. I don't know how many times to say it, how many ways to say it. Even Willie Williams be having it up there. Just go to the damn doctor. Nobody has to know. Nobody has to know. Just do it. Just do it. If the shit don't feel right, move on to another person.
Is the work of letting one or two things go. Telling one person the truth about what your week actually looks like. Going to one appointment you've been putting off. Don't do it because somebody on the internet told you to. Do it because the math on your body and the math on your time both ran out about 2 years ago and you know it. If you love a man like that, the move is even simpler. Stop asking him if he's all right. He's going to say he's good. He has been saying,
child, Lord help your people, and that ain't no lie. I'm all right. You're clearly not. You're clearly not. And then it don't be until you half almost to the floor. I'm not going to say dead. Then it's like, all right, you ready to go to the doctor now, child? Because you're not listening. Why are you not listening? You need to go to the doctor. I don't know why that's weird. Go to the fucking doctor. Shit.
He's good since 1987. Ask him something specific. Ask him when's the last time he took a day for himself. Ask him who calls him to check on him. Ask him what he's been drinking lately and how often. Not as an attack, as a witness. Because part of what these men never.
Child, and if we there, we see what they drinking. Trust me when I tell you, we see what they drinking. You're doing too much drinking. Then you gotta wait. Then you wait until something happens to you, and then it's like, oh, I'm doing a lot of drinking. You think? You can't make anybody do anything. Trust me when I tell. No, I did make him go though, but for the most part, you can't make people do anything. I'm just saying.
Got in any of the windows we just walked through was the experience of somebody seeing the full load and saying it out loud back to them. Just naming it, just saying, I see what you're carrying. That's the whole thing. The drinking, the silence, the parenting, the working, the carrying, the not asking. None of it is random. None of it is a character flaw. It's a generation of men who got handed a specific window of American life and learned to survive it the only way they were taught. And most of them are still here, which, given what they walked through, is its own kind of miracle. Appreciate you sitting with me on this one.
Oh, that was a good video. Shout out to this dude. RBN, oh, you good? Because you don't drink, you good? I don't know about that, but if you say so. The doctor just handed me my 211. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? But especially for black people, right? Y'all know we got these same old issues throughout our families. We got the same old issues: high blood pressure, diabetes, fibroids for women. This shit runs through, I guess I gotta say, our lineage for the most part. Everybody got it. Disposition to heart attacks, cancer. So if we're not going to see that we're at least trying to stay in shape and doing what's right, then one, I feel like that's stupid. Let me just say it. I think that's stupid. And then two, especially if we have health insurance, why are we paying for shit that we're not going to use? I'm a firm believer in spending money, child, but also for health. And then if it's something that, God forbid, comes up as an issue, then handle it. Take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. All right. Well, shout out to that dude. I'll drop the link in a second. It is 7:52. I got about a half an hour. So let's go ahead and talk about Gen Z. Mrs. said most of those is poor eating habits. If we eat the same, our illnesses will be similar. I agree. It's the eating, and then the non-exercising, and then the non-going to the doctor to know that something is wrong in the beginning sooner rather than later, instead of allowing it to fester and then to make it turn into something even worse. And you know, there's a lot of people that don't tell the family history. That's why I just named the regular stuff. But it's important to know the history. And a lot of Black people do not be telling they don't be relaying the illnesses in the family down. Everybody all of a sudden has high blood pressure, right? Diabetes. My dad and my real dad and my sister have diabetes. And I'm like, I don't want that in any way, shape, or form, but I'm predestined to possibly have it. So, because it's on my other side too. So I check for it. I get it checked all the time because I'm not trying to have it. Because I think there's one that you can get rid of and then there's one that you can't. I don't eat food like this anymore. Or let me say rarely eat food like, I could eat fried chicken every day. Y'all already know that. Baked macaroni and cheese, all of that. I don't eat that stuff no more. I don't eat that stuff anymore. I mean, it is important what you eat. It's important that you move and exercise. I'm just saying, we be fat. How many times do we watch people and talk about being big backed, right? You can either continue to do what you're doing or you can change it. I watch videos all the time on Facebook of people who used to be big and then they're changing their diet, they're exercising, and they turn into completely different people. So when people are like, well, what did you eat? Oh, I had a protein shake or I had some Greek yogurt. That's the type of shit that I eat now. I'd be wasting my money going to the trainer in order if I still ate like that, because half of the freaking the exercise plan is how you eat. And I still got to change over a lot more stuff, but it's a process. Cause child, I'm gonna be like one of them people in that video. All right. Anyway, shout out to TD in the building. I appreciate you, boo. He said, I feel like most men are just afraid to find out. I don't disagree. We expect the worst case scenario, but oftentimes we find out so early that we can do something about it. That's the key, child. And if y'all already know that if you were with a biatch that you think is going to leave you, then why are you with her? Because that's what RBM was saying earlier about the wages. So I'm assuming that you probably feel the same way about a sickness. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I would never do that. But I'm assuming biatches, if you know that you got a biatch that's going to leave you if you had less money or you or if you got sick, then what the hell are y'all with him for? With her for? Trey, appreciate you. He said it's the soul food that will literally take your soul. Listen, and I love it. Let's not get it twisted. I love me some baked macaroni and cheese all day, every day. The best part about how I eat now is that I can have all the seafood that I want. It's just because it's high in protein, but it cannot be fried. There's no more fried food, and that's fine. Because as I go around to a lot of these restaurants and I look at them, it's like, ugh, I paid money for this. I used to pay money for this. It ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. And all the people that are like, oh, it's expensive to eat healthy. That's an excuse. That's a freaking excuse. I stay in Panda Express, which the food is not that great. I'm not even gonna lie, but it's so high in protein. It's just worth it from that perspective. Then you be full if you want to eat out, and then you haven't wrecked your eating plan. So I'm sick of them. I'm honestly sick of the food, but it's an option on eating out. Thank you, boo. Shout out to TD with another 2. He said, exercise is freaking cheat code. Oh my God. It's a thing. It's a thing. Shout out to you. I agree. I don't disagree. Shout out to Artifacts for the super sticker. I appreciate you, hun. Shout out to all of y'all that are here. Please make sure you hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Let's talk about Generation Z. This is still a continuation from Amir's video. We are not even halfway done with this. I get through as much as I can. It says, why millennials and Gen Z are feeling burnt out at work? Probably because they're looking for a 10% raise, like they done did something, child. I don't even understand how they can form their lips to say that shit. Shout out to Saint Fan in the building. Thank you so much, boo. He said, good morning, Miss Shawn, and peace to the chat. 79, baby, here. Shout out to Generation X. I'll be 47 next month. Happy birthday in advance, boo. He said that Gen X video is almost on point. No kids. Ex-wife didn't want any, but my parents baked responsibility into me. Shout out to your responsible, I'm assuming, baby boomer parents. Shout out to them. They all weren't horrible, y'all. We've had some issues, trust me when I tell you. They all weren't horrible when you reevaluate later in life. But come on, let's take a look at this video and see what we can laugh at today.
Burnt out. It's the people around you. You need to go somewhere else.
I don't want a better job. I don't want a better career. I don't want more money. I don't want a job. I don't want somewhere to go for 50 hours of my life a week and stand there and feel like a caged animal. I don't want to play the game. I can't stand being fake. How you doing? What's going on? Oh.
Okay, I understand not wanting a job, not wanting a 9-to-5, but I truly do think if you find the job, if you find the career, if you just find like yourself doing something that you thoroughly enjoy and love to do, it goes from more of a job to like a career. It turns, like if you're in a really supportive environment where you're doing something you're passionate about, you feel like you're actively making a change, and your job, your company is supporting you, they're pushing you, they're giving you the bonuses, giving you the raise, and they're equipping you with the tools to help you excel, and you're meeting all your goals and dreams that you have in your personal life, it can work out. And that type of job model, that type of like company, that exists for a lot of people out there. You just may be at the wrong one. You may just not be doing something fulfilling to you. But I think everybody on this planet can give back to the planet in various different ways that's fruitful to them. Like, especially with the rise of social media, like there's people crocheting, there's people giving hiking guides, there's people, hairstylists, like a commentary. There's
So there are people crocheting for a living? All right, y'all.
so many different things out there that you could be doing. There's so many different things where you could be providing value.
Oh, thank you, Amir. Finally, yes, there are so many things that you could be doing. Why do these people only think, because they're basically saying corporate America. When they make these videos like this, they are basically speaking about corporate America. There is a whole big ass world out there. Why are they always so focused on corporate? As a person who previously was doing blue collar work, why do they only think about corporate? These supposed to be college educated people that's supposed to be so damn smart, and yes, they sound so damn dumb most of the damn time, child. But maybe it's just me. Go ahead, child.
Find what is it that makes you happy. I'm gonna put this graph up on the screen. I think it's I forgot the name, but it just came right to mind. Is it the Ikagi? I'm probably saying it all wrong. I'll put it up here on the screen, but it's taking in what you love, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, and what you're good at, and pairing those together. And like, once you answer all those questions, you can kind of drill down into something that you can find that you're passionate about, that you're good at doing, that the world needs, and that you can make money from. You get all those squared away, oh, you're golden.
So they're going to use the app to figure out their life. All right, y'all.
You're pretty much set. Like, you can't ask for anything better than that. So if you're in this type of mindset, run through this, answer these questions to yourself, and really try to nail down what is it that you want to do. Because I do think it is absurd that we're sitting here asking, like, especially Gen Z, 17, 18, 19, 20, what do you want to do the rest of your life? I don't know. So like, at least help them figure that out. At least equip them with the tools, help them figure out.
At least help them figure that out. Lord, help your people.
What they're wanting to do. That will be golden, because everybody has their own hobbies, everybody has their own passions. And when you lean into your passion and make money from your passion, you're golden. And that can happen. But if you're in a space where you just don't want to work, you don't want to do anything, so unfortunately, that's not going to happen in this life. You need to put in work, you need to do something, but it is possible doing something you love and make money from it. People are doing it all the time. I just think the problem is the main people that are living this life of they're fulfilled, they're following their passions, they're living their truth, they're a rare breed. If 95%
they're living their truth, child, that sounds like something a woman would say.
% of humans are acting like this, and this 5% is broken out of this rat race, and they're doing what they love to do. That 5%, you have to act different. You have to move different. You literally have to separate yourself from the average 95% and become this 5% that achieves their goals and dreams. And everybody can do that, but it's on you to do it. Like you're literally gonna be different. You're gonna move different. You're not gonna go out all the time. You're gonna have different goals and dreams. You have to literally be a different type of human being and see the.
Okay, he finally making some sense. Yes, you got to be different. You can't do what you want to do and then think everyone is supposed to change the way that you think and expect them to. So he's right. They got to change. They don't want to change. They want the rest of the world to change for them, because honestly, that's what they used to. Participation trophies and all that type of stuff, and you don't do anything wrong, and you poor baby, it's not your fault. Nah, it's your fault. Nah, it is your fault. And like the welder said, I don't know if he's still here, go take a trade. Gen Z just said that she was going to go back and take a trade. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to figure out what to do, then do something different. Nope, just do the same thing. Whine about corporations that you already said don't care about you, of which they don't. I don't even know, where did anybody come up with the thought that a company cared about you? I never, ever understood it. I will take advantage of every single benefit that they have. That's why you're there. You get paid, but them benefits are there for you too. I know people that said, I'm scared. You scared of what? I'm scared to take them benefits. Why? That's what they're there for. Unless you're doing something illegal, you must be doing something illegal. Because other than that, that's what this shit is there for. It's for you to take advantage of if you qualify for it. Y'all be scared. That'd be most of the problem too. People be scared. I'm gonna take this shit because guess what? They're either going to, if they're going to fire me, they're gonna fire me. If they're gonna lay me off, they're gonna lay me off. And God forbid, if I was gonna lose my job today, praise the Lord, hopefully they lay me off because they're gonna be paying me for a while. Lay me off. I'm not saying that I want to be, but if you're gonna get rid of me, just lay me off because then they gotta pay for it. I've been laid off before. The best thing that ever happened to me. Would it be the best now? Probably not because I'm older, but that time it was wonderful because that's when my salary started to go up because I started 2 years and then I'd move on. Every 2 years I would move on to a different company. That's how I made money. Increase my income, I should say.
The world from a different point of view, from a different lens to be in this 5% and to then really scale and achieve your goals and dreams. Anybody can do.
This is the luxury bucket list. This is what I used to hear every time that I took a day off. My mother-in-law, you off? You ain't go to work? Girl, if you don't get out of my face, child, if you don't do something about your mom, don't be worrying about what I'm doing. Don't be worried about what I'm doing. Because these are, your baby boomers definitely were the people that were like, you got to go to work every day and you don't take time off. A lot of the people that were baby boomers outside of my my family, like on my husband's side of the family and people he knew, they worked for like factory stuff. They were blue collar. They were what is it? The car companies, y'all. What was that? GM and all that stuff. That's where they worked, right? So they wouldn't take time off, but they would give them time off like if the line wasn't working or they went on strike. So they ended up off, right? They ended up off. They just didn't take their time off. And she instilled that in her children, which is fine. But what we're not going to do as an adult, married and with children with our own home, going to be answering to this bitch. Child. Yeah, you better get your mom, child, because I'm going to cuss her out. Because I'm going to take this time off. And this is before I was cruising, y'all. Child, what I'm supposed to do? Sit here and work every single day? Yeah, I'm supposed to work every day. But child, vacation and sick time is there for a reason. And I used to be on the phone. So you know, if you ever had a phone job, you had to call out and you had to talk to somebody back in the day. And I hated that shit. Oh, I'm gonna talk to you though. I don't feel good. You was out for more than 2 days or 3 days, you had to go get a doctor's note. Child, these people can miss me with all this whining and complaining. Now I'm at the point where all I do is log in early enough, send an email and say, I ain't coming in today, put the time in and I'm done. That's the job that I needed to be. Not this, I gotta talk to somebody. I gotta be checking with somebody. No. And even when I had to do that, I was still taking time off. Not trying to hear it. Child, these people crazy. Shout out to TD with another 5. I appreciate you. He said they go to college not taking advantage of all the tools there. Oh, that's could be too. You're supposed to use the counselors there to help. Wait. You're supposed to use the counselors there to help you get a lead on a career. Shout out to you. Point taken. I did not know that. Look at that. All these opportunities. In high school, we had that. You used to have to go down to your counselor and discuss what you wanted to do, how you wanted to get there. If you wanted to go to college, they would help you apply, get all the requirements, prepare you for the SATs. This is the score that you need. I'm under the impression they must not do this stuff anymore, y'all. These are the things that they did for us in school, and that was in the late 80s. Best time of my life. But that was also the time, or second best time of my life. But that's also the time when they also had home economics in school and taught you life things as well. Now they want to bring in ABCDs to do drag. Anyway.
You're burned out because you're a liar. It's not because you work too much. You are burned out because you keep lying to yourself. You can work 12 hours a day on something that fits you and feels aligned. You can be tired and still feel alive, but spend that same 8 hours a day pretending and shrinking and biting your tongue and abandoning yourself one Zoom call at a time. That kind of tired, go straight to your bone.
Yes. Okay. That's exactly what I was talking about. You're still like, even for me, I'm living my dream. I love what I do. I'd be tired. I'd be stressed. This is literally the hardest I have ever worked in my entire life, but I'm happy.
Well, when you work for yourself, regardless of what people say, you're putting more hours into that. Look at me. I am up here at 6. What did I start at? 6:20 in the morning. It's now almost 8:20. 2 hours. I'm about to work, and then I'm gonna do another live stream. I just decided at 3 o'clock today. Now, do I think that this is the most work, the hardest work doing this? No, but it definitely is work because I cut out editing at most that I can because I do it all myself. So it could be overwhelming. It's a lot. It's a freaking lot. It's a freaking lot. So these people and what they be complaining about, what is it? I think it was RBN, if I can say it. I think you said you have worked 70 some hours so far this week. These people talking about they can barely do 40. And 40 is an issue, and they are much younger than you are, complaining about working 40 hours a week. These people, it seems like most of these people that's coming on here today is that they don't have children. They don't even have a family. So what the hell else are they doing? I'm gonna need a Generation Z to tell me what the hell else that y'all be doing, especially if you don't have a family and you don't have kids, that y'all can't work more than 40 fucking hours a week. That's crazy. Because when at least, get on my nerves, but my mother-in-law, when she was working, they worked until they was done, until the next shift came in. It wasn't just 8 hours. And they was doing some hard manual labor ass work. They might have been doing some repetitive stuff, but it still was hard work under whatever the conditions were. Really, really hot, really, really cold, dangerous type of shit. A lot of women did that shit too. Shout out to Mike Love. He said, once I learned how to use 2 weeks of vacation to get 5 weeks of vacation, I was sold on vacations. I'm definitely sold on vacations. I'm sold on vacations. I got to cut back right now because the economy, but child, once I get it together, I'm back on the ocean. Y'all already know. Shout out to vacations, child. These people don't want to work in order to get to vacation, though. They can't even get anywhere in order to get to that point.
Happy. I'm fulfilled. I can keep going. I'm pushing through. I don't feel myself ever like getting burnt out of this, at least not anytime soon. If you are actually passionate about what you're doing and you love what you're doing, it's not going to feel like a burnout. It's not going to feel like soul crippling, should I say.
It's not about effort. It's about betrayal. It is waking up already irritated. It's needing caffeine just to tolerate people. It is being grateful on the outside and resentful in private. And no amount of rest is going to touch that because you don't need sleep. You need alignment. So start here. Keep it simple. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating that I already know I shouldn't be? Don't quit your job and blow up your whole life. Just find the leak. That conversation you keep dodging, the boundary you keep softening, the role you stay in because leaving would make things awkward.
Yeah.
Burnout starts when your mouth keeps agreeing to things that your spirit has already rejected.
You need to be more vocal in the things that you're wanting for yourself and your career. You don't have to be the person that uproots their whole life and quits their job. Maybe you talk with your boss, you talk to people around you, and you fix the things that need to be fixed. You set the boundaries that need to be set, and you change the dynamic of your workload in your workplace. Maybe some change can happen. Or you do have to leave. You have to make people uncomfortable. You do have to do what you have to do for yourself. Because, yeah, a lot of people burned out because they told them.
No way. You know what my grandmother used to do? She used to pick crabs. Now, Maryland is for crabs, of course. We love crabs like there ain't no tomorrow. And I love whole crabs and picking them and all that stuff. But she used to pick crabs for work. She used to have cut up fingers because if you know about eating crabs, you know you can get your fingers cut the fuck up, okay? That's what she used to do. It used to smell like a crab and I didn't mind. But the point is that if they could do it back then, these people have no excuses. They don't even have to do jobs like that. And I see that you said it's why I have a maid now. I don't do toilets anymore. I have people come and clean the house as well because to do like the deep cleaning. But back then they used to clean people's houses too. A lot of women, Black women in particular, and she used to, I found out, used to be a maid as well. They did all the things that they needed to do in order to help and move everything forward. These people complain and they got more opportunity than the Lord, more opportunity and options than the Lord. And all they want to do is complain. That's it. Always. We always had crabs. Always. Always, 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 always. Because she used to pick them and then put them in a plastic container. And then the company would put them probably in the grocery stores, honestly. And then she would bring it home. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we had crab cakes all the time. These people don't know nothing about that. They ain't done nothing that really warrants all this complaining, honestly.
That they're fine. You're burnt out because you have betrayed yourself. You betrayed your mental health. You betrayed your body. You betrayed yourself. You literally have done yourself dirty by continuing pushing through, continue. And there's people, I feel like, sometimes confuse hard work and doing something that you don't want to do with like self-disrespect. Because you're gonna go through phases of life where you're gonna have to do what you don't want to do, where you have to work extra hard, put in extra
yes, correct
hours. That's always gonna be a thing. But it's another when it's being abused. It's another when it's not just this massive project that we're working on. No, now everything's urgent. Now we need everything right away. Now you need to be working
that's how corporate America gets. He's right about this. I'm a little bit unsure what he's talking about, but in corporate America, one day you down there in the game room, you outside with the festivities, and the next second everything is due and you got to work. That's a good part about salary too, because you can, maybe get away with not working a full 8-hour shift because your salary, the pay is going to be the same regardless. But when that shit is due, you better get it done. So if that means you got to work 10 hours, your ass better work 10 hours those days. Get that shit done, or that's when it's going to become a problem. Now they're kind of trying to change that. I'm peeping it now. They're trying to change that. And my thing is that you're not going to require me to work 8 hours a day and then require me to stay when you need a deadline to be done. I'm not doing that. So you're either going to treat me like a salaried employee or you're not. You can't have it both ways. That means I got to go. That definitely means I got to go. And that's part of the reason that I'm looking now. Yeah, manage your time. That's what you do. You manage your time. I'm not saying I come in for 3 hours, but I'm going to be in here. Y'all the ones that are providing all these games and shit, so I'm going to take the time if I ain't got shit to do. But I also know when the shit comes down to the wire, that I need to keep my ass active online in the office to get this shit done. I understand that. But y'all, they trying to change shit. You got to be watching and paying attention. I don't know that necessarily these people do. I got my eye out. Trust me, I do. That's why I said I'm a little bit job hunting, but I want it to be remote at this point. So I'm being picky right now, being very picky right now.
Hard all the time. When those get blurred, yeah, something needs to be said. Because I'm all for working hard, busting your ass, going above and beyond. Yes. But for certain objects, for certain time periods, for certain sprints, yes. Your entire life, no, you need to take care of yourself too. Okay. I'm all for hard work. I'm all for pushing through it. But I'm also not one to be ran over. I'm also not one to be abused. I'm not someone to be taken advantage of. And you aren't either. So if you are in this position and you are really burnt out, you need to take a step back and ask yourself all these questions of what you need to do to fix it. There's a couple things you can do, and there's probably some things you know you should do. There's probably some things you know you should say. There's probably some things that you know is high core. And when you got stomach issues, gut issues, mood, stress, your work environment is doing a lot more.
Yeah, you're not gonna stress me to sickness though. That's what we're not gonna do.
Then like, oh, I'm
Hey, friendly reminder, if you're the type of person that has decided that you don't want to be climbing the corporate ladder and become a manager and all that other nonsense.
All they talk about is corporate, y'all. Do you notice that? That's it. That's it. Not a time pick me. Goodbye, sir. All they know is corporate. This is crazy. And I guess the internet.
And that does not mean that you are unmotivated or lazy. That just means that you are smart enough to recognize that a bigger job title is not always worth the extra stress.
Yeah, sometimes this is the case too. You don't always need to climb the ladder, and don't feel bad about not doing that. Climb the corporate ladder, you don't need to leave your current role and go from there. Mental health. Because something that I think of a job. You are sustaining yourself, you're paying your bills, you're doing what you need to. You're not stuck. Make up a plan, go after it.
Popularity. And companies will be like, well, we want people that want to be here.
Look, the reason high performers are a dying breed in corporate. Child. These are the most educated. I'm talking about all of them. They all college people, allegedly.
Want to be there. I did want to work here, but I can't focus on doing great work while also stroking the ego of an insecure boss all day, while they are deliberately trying to make my life a living hell. And then when you start to raise concerns, now you're not a team player. You're not a culture fit. You have a bad attitude. It's like you can't win.
It's like you can't win, especially when they feel threatened.
Oh my God. Whatever. I'm just saying, listen, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Then don't do it. Then don't do it. Then get out of corporate America. Just get out of corporate America. It's that simple. Not the college to corporate or federal pipeline, even though you're right. That's what it is. That's what it seems to be.
Making it harder for them to do their own job.
You try to tell people outside of work, like what's happening, nobody understands. Like people just don't understand, or they treat it like it's not that serious. Like you're more than just your job. I've even said that because I now believe that to be true. But while you're in it, you're like, well, I'm just used to doing a great job. I love what I do. I care about my career. I've built this career off of working hard, and someone is literally trying to tear it down. And the way that they're tearing it down is like mental. It's mentally. They've mentally got into your head. So like now you can't show it physically. And in my case, I literally quit.
Damn. And truly, I think it's people like this that other people in the company see. Other people in the company are watching. The new people that are in the company are watching. They're all watching how the bosses are responding to people who work hard. Did they get a raise? Are they being treated well? Why is it that every person that starts to do really well and gets praise from other people, they quit? Why? What's up with the high turnover rate of the company?
And child, they already know it's Generation Z because y'all lazy. All right. So you can keep talking about it, but we already saw that that's what the hell it is. You want what you want when you want it, and you think you deserve stuff that you didn't even work for.
I mean, when I'm worked, and then I'm leaving. Done.
Hardest part about corporate America to me is not the actual work, it's pretending to care. Pretending to care about work that just does not matter. And I also think that the fake urgency around, again, things that quite literally do not matter, things that do not make an impact in this world, that to me, it just does something to you mentally.
When everything becomes urgent, everything is a problem, everything needs to be fixed now.
If that's what they want, then that's what it is. I don't understand. Then quit. Okay, maybe y'all are doing the right thing by quitting, because all I hear is a bunch of complaining from the people that you want to pay you, and you want to give you a 10% raise, and then they ask you to do something. What did I just say? If something is urgent and I have to get it done, I got to think, well, I've been lounging for the last 3 months. So yeah, you know what? Let me go ahead and put in the extra hours, which is not even extra, and get this shit done because it's required and it's that time. Y'all, please. Tell it to somebody else.
Able to keep doing that.
So I've kind of been debating whether we should even have this conversation, but every burned out professional eventually has a serious few moment in their career. And a lot of times your body wakes up before your brain does. You've either been there, you're in it right now, or it's coming. It's that moment where something inside you says, I cannot keep living like this anymore. The exhaustion, the anxiety, the Sunday dread, the mornings where you wake up already feeling behind, the short temper, the brain fog, the feeling that your life is slowly being drained for you by something you used to convince yourself was just part of being responsible. And your body knows long before you admit it that this pace is not sustainable.
It's like what Homegirl was talking about in the beginning of this video when she was like, you're lying to yourself. Yeah, when you get to this point, your body has been telling you all the signs. Your mental health has been telling you all the signs that this is not going to last. In that moment, that F you moment is coming.
Keep saying it's fine. I'm just tired. It'll get better. I just need to make it to the weekend until one day, all those little band-aids stop working. The coffee doesn't fix it. The vacation doesn't fix it. The raise doesn't fix it. The just be grateful for it speech doesn't fix it. And if you're feeling that,
this is something I can see you having as an older person. I don't see you having this as Generation Z though. I absolutely can understand this if you are this far away from retirement or whatever, or you've been working for at least 20, 25 years. But child, if you just started, I don't understand why you would have these thoughts. It doesn't make sense. You ain't worked nowhere long enough to have these type of thoughts.
Shift right now, I need you to understand something. That might not be a breakdown. It might be a breakthrough.
Yeah, that might be the moment for you where you realize, okay, something has to change for real, like for real. Because I've definitely had an FE moment.
Maybe your attitude should change. How about that? I mean, that's not me coming for a mirror. I'm just saying maybe y'all's attitude needs to change. That's an option.
A couple of years ago, I had a friend give me the absolute best piece of very simple advice for managing work stress. For context, at the time, I was really struggling with a manager that I had at work, and it was eking into every single part of my life. It was the type of thing where I brought it up all the time. It was not relevant all the time, but I brought it up all the time. I was losing sleep at night. I wasn't even able to focus when I was at work, when I was spending time with friends. I was just yapping. And finally, I had a friend who very sweetly listened to me for so long, but she just looked at me and said, Elizabeth, are you really going to let this be the thing that steals your peace? And I don't know what it was about that specific phrase, but looking at...
Child, how old Elizabeth look? Child, how old Elizabeth look? Talking about, is that what's going to steal your peace? Child, you telling me this is the only thing Elizabeth can do? Child, you got a degree. What are you doing? Corporate America, I'm sure.
Obsessing about a problem as stealing my peace that just completely clicked.
Stealing my peace. So stealing your peace is how they looking at it. Okay.
For me in that moment.
Are you really going to sit here and let this job, let this career, whatever you're in right now, steal your peace? Is it what?
Are you really going to let this job steal your peace? Oh, Lord, help your people.
You're going through right now, the problem that you have, the stress on your plate.
What is she going through right now? How much stress do y'all think that she has at work, y'all? Like, seriously.
right now, is that worth ruining your peace?
This is why you all are failing Generation Z. Because you think everything is about you. And you worry about your peace. Right, Joseph, my peace is at home and with my family. Child, if y'all don't go to work, shut the fuck up and take that money and go home. And if that's not what you want to do, then find another job. But child, this sounds crazy. Yes. Is that job really worth your peace? Well, then you'll never work anywhere because all jobs are annoying at some point. Hell, the fucking gym and my trainer is annoying at some point. Does that mean I got to give it up because it affects my peace, allegedly? What are we talking about? Child, this is why, this be why I can't have no sympathy for these people, because this sounds crazy.
Is that worth ruining your time, even not at work right now? Is that worth ruining the experience that you're in right now? Is that worth ruining your time that you're supposed to be off? Is it worth it? And I think that's a question we all need to be asking ourselves with whatever we're doing in life. Is this worth disrupting my peace?
All right, y'all, make sure you ask yourselves if this is worth disrupting my peace. So let me go ahead and ask myself, is being able to live in this home and have this air conditioner right now during the bad air quality outside, being able to have heat in the wintertime, being able to continue to drive this Jeep, put gas in it. Yeah, that's probably going to be a lot more stressful to my peace if I don't have money to take care of it than to be at this job, to go ahead and F around most of the time. And then when it's time for me to perform, I need to perform regardless of how long it takes to do. And then I can keep my health insurance. Yeah, they don't weigh it out like that. They do not weigh it out like that. This sounds crazy.
Should be protecting it. You are an important person. You are. And you need to be treated as such.
You are a very important person and you need to be treated as such.
You need to be giving yourself the self-respect of setting boundaries, being clear with the people around you.
Be clear. Yep. Go on into them jobs, child. Be clear to the people around you. I did not say accept disrespect. Okay. But you definitely need to do your job that you signed on the dotted line for. So if that means that you have to do, I don't know, be on the phone and you don't get to take a break until they tell you to take a break, then that's what you need to do because that's what you signed up for. But if your peace is more important and the bills that you have aren't, quit. We're here for it because then you'll be talking on TikTok.
And making sure that you are in a position where you can always grow. Again, we can't change what happens to us. We can't change the fact that we got our dream job and our company ends up being shit or vice versa. All we can do is take lessons from that and go. And not even just that, but when it comes to managing your stress at work, what tools do you have in place that are implemented to help you be more focused, increase your productivity? Are you setting timers? Are you time blocking? Are you like what are you doing to take advantage of your time and be more efficient? What are you doing to ensure that when you are off work, you're actually off? What are you doing to make sure that you are?
Let me tell y'all something. When I'm off work, I'm off. That's one of the reasons that I got out of management too, because when you're off, you're not off. When you manage people, when you are off, you're not off. And I say, you know what? I'm not doing this no more because first of all, I'm tired of babysitting adults. And second of all, when I'm off, I'm off. So this ain't the job for me. Individual contributor, that's what it's gonna be. That works for me. Cause y'all ain't got time to be getting up on this and okay, he's done. Good. We finally finished this one. We finally finished this one. I am very surprised that I'm here though. But then again, he looks like he's a Z, so I guess it makes sense. I will go ahead and look for another one because you know my lot in life now is to make fun of Generation Z because y'all sound crazy. Y'all sound crazy if you hear, but good luck to y'all. But keep making the content because we love it. Anyway, it's almost 8:30, y'all. Get to work. It's been 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours. Shout out to y'all for hanging in there through all of this. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. I will be back today on live channel at 3 o'clock. We got to talk about more Nolan Webb. Is that his name? Whatever his name is. Stuff. And some other things, maybe some crime is down. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. Shout out to everyone that donated today. I see you. I appreciate you. I see you all in the next.